Hey everyone, it's Ryan here with another episode of Blockchain Market. And today I'm with Erwin Werring, CEO at Attrace. So welcome, Erwin.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talking about Attrace and affiliate marketing and blockchain with the blockchain markets community. So before we start, as we were chatting before the interview, I think would be interesting if you can give us a bit of a background of yourself, and then we just jump more on what Attrace is.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Erwin Werring. I'm a CEO, co-founder of Attrace. I'm already 42 years old. So I have a background, master's in financial economics, did a couple of years M&A and auditing at Deloitte. Then I moved to the US as wanted to be a songwriter. I did that for 2 years at Universal Records, which was a great time. Then I moved to London, which is where I've set up a company which is about building online communities exposed to affiliate tracked advertisement, hence the user case with Attrace. I did it for 4 years, sold the company. Then I moved to Morgan Stanley Bank. So I became a banker in London, which is perhaps bad, I don't know. I did it for 8 years. It was predominantly around advisory on asset management globally, heavily leveraged real estate. So it's quite an exciting time when the whole thing crashed. Very educative. Then about 4 years ago, I quit. I set up another company called Link Bundle, which was about online performance measurement versus competition for globally operating organizations, predominantly retail banks. And then about last year, August, I started to get involved into this Attrace initiative, which for me was an absolute no-brainer. So I got really excited about it because it's probably the ultimate user case for blockchain tech. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think that now that you mentioned, I think affiliate marketing, you're right, and it's a perfect use case because it's full with those middlemen that
Yeah, exactly. So let me explain what we are. So so Attrace is the first fully decentralized affiliate marketing platform. So it's an entirely custom-made blockchain developed from scratch. So we developed this fully in-house, and this blockchain is capable of registering and auditing any advertisement click on chain, whether that's a sale or no sale. And as a result, once implemented, this would solve all the problems with affiliate marketing, the ones around trust tracking and transparency, and the ones around fees, which are rather hefty. So I think it's best to first explain quickly what's affiliate marketing. Yeah. Now, if you look at online marketing, that's currently worth about $230 billion a year. It's growing with 10% a year, so that's massive. And you can roughly divide this in 3 different types of sports. So when you have a website, and you want to earn money, you can put an advertisement on it, right? So you can earn in 3 different ways, roughly. Pay-per-view, which is when people look at your advertisement. Pay-per-click, which is what Google is doing, when people are clicking your advertisement. And pay-per-actual sale achieved, which is when people are clicking your advertisement, the person's steered towards the website of the advertiser, and only when a sale has been closed, a commission is paid. So that's called affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is currently worth about $13 billion a year. It should arguably be a bit more because it's the logical endpoint of online marketing. It's the most healthy way of online marketing. Now, but why isn't that the case? Because there are a couple of problems. So imagine affiliate marketing. So you have like a insurance comparison website, and someone clicks on an advertisement of an AXA insurance, is steered towards the AXA website. Only when AXA sells an insurance, for example, a car insurance, a commission is paid from the insurer to the website. That's healthy. But the problem is there's a middleman involved called the affiliate network. And the middleman tracks and traces and registers all the clicks generated by the website. And it's arranging all the payments from the insurance company or another advertiser to the website. And the insurer and the price comparison website, they're not in direct contact with each other. So this creates a lot of vagueness. Everything becomes a bit of a mystery. So as a publisher, for example, you never know if all the leads you've generated are rightfully allocated to you. You never know if all the payments are actually ending up with you. Yeah. So there's a lot of trust tracking and transparency issues. On top of that, the middleman takes 25%. So this is about $13 billion a year globally. So here's your use case. Now, what is Attrace? Attrace says, well, we will apply blockchain to the core of affiliate marketing. If we lock the agreement between the advertiser and the website, and we track and trace every individual click on chain, sale or no sale, you make the middleman or the affiliate network obsolete. And this is, of course, a fantastic use case because it means you are solving a problem. This is not a blockchain initiative that's adding some value. We are solving a massive problem in a $13 billion a year market. And on top of that, you know, besides solving the trust tracking and transparency issues, we add a lot of value as well, because we can bring the fees down with 95%, which is a game changer in itself. But also, you know, there's no more complicated and slow payments. Nowadays, if an insurance company wants to pay a website via the middleman, it takes sometimes between 4 and 6 months before the money arrives. You can do way more dynamic payments based on demographics, geographics, lifetime value. There's direct communication between the advertiser and the publisher that's promoting the product. There's also no more restrictions to become a merchant. So nowadays, if you want to, for example, I want to advertise, I don't know, something crazy, like, I don't know, goldfish insurance. And you only make one sale every 2 months. Nowadays, you can't use affiliate marketing as a platform for that, because the middleman will tell you, okay, you don't generate enough sales or enough traffic, so I'm not interested in working with you. So these type of advertisers are currently, they do end up with display or advertisement or Google advertisement, because the third option, affiliate marketing, is not possible for them. We take out, you know, the limitations to become a merchant. So arguably this market could become way bigger. That's a massive pro as well. And on top of that, because of the structure with the tokens, it will also bring down the cookie spamming problem, the cookie spamming shared by the publisher. Yeah, so I hope this was not too much information in a short time, but this is basically what we do.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of interesting information that we can dissect from what you said. So I think one thing interesting to know is that it's not, the plan is not to running on another blockchain, but to create your own.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So this is another thing. So currently there's about 4 competitors, and they have all you know, tried to take on the affiliate marketing use case. And I wish everybody his or her success, and with all due respect, but all 4 of them are not going to work in the current environment. And why is that? Because all of them are running on Ethereum. Now, if you run this on Ethereum, it means you cannot track and trace every individual click on chain, because in order to do so, you need to process between 1 to 6,000 clicks a second on chain. If you try to do that on Ethereum, you're going to be bankrupt in 2 weeks. So as a result, they cannot face, you know, their proposition is about, okay, we're going to connect them, the advertisers and the websites directly, or the fees are going to go down, which is all very nice, but it means they're not facing the elephant in the room. The main problem with affiliate marketing is the trust tracking and transparency. And you can only solve that if you register any click on chain. So all these competitors, they can't do that. So they don't solve the problem with affiliate marketing. They just don't. So in order to do so, you need to have a blockchain that's processing about 6,000 clicks a second. Now we looked at, and then the next question would be, well, there are other blockchains out there that might be able to process, you know, these type of contracts way quicker. Why did you have to build your own? Well, there's 3 reasons for that. First, there's cost. You want to make sure that the cost creates a healthy economical environment for any stakeholder involved, that be the publisher, the merchant, the nodes or witnesses, and also perhaps the contributors, the people who would buy the Trace token. That's one. Second of all is the customizability. We've seen a lot of blockchains that have all kinds of features that are not necessary for the affiliate marketing use case. And none of them had the features that we feel are essential for the affiliate marketing use case. So you had to build your own. But the main reason why we build our own, the third one, is the most important one, and I'm always surprised that nobody's talking about it more often, is operational risk. You don't want to, you know, disrupt or shake up a whole industry And then your whole proposition is based on a third-party blockchain, which you have no influence on. If I'd be running a normal corporation and I'm listed at the NASDAQ, I would be killed over that. That's operational risk, which is unacceptable. So we also don't want to face that type of operational risk.
That's a very good point, actually. And I just did an interview with the guys of I just forgot the name of the project now, but Quant. Over Ledger, and then they were talking about specifically that. So then it is very true. I mean, nobody's saying that, but you run a huge risk when you let's say you're business X and you decided to go for one platform, and that platform screws up or has something,
or in case of Ethereum, it has CryptoKitties and everything gets slower, or
you cannot expect you just to like kind of marry with one and then you cannot,
So also the Trace blockchain is it's fully developed from scratch in Golang. It's delegated proof of stake, and it's a fully open network. So that's also important to perhaps communicate. Yeah, we felt it was a no-brainer. But of course, it's easier to put it on another blockchain, but perhaps not the most robust long-term.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well in the market. There are a lot of projects that are going and starting with another on top of another blockchain, but always looking towards creating their own blockchain, which in some cases like this may make sense. Now that we were talking about the blockchain, maybe we can talk about the ecosystem of Attrace and what's the role that the token would play within that ecosystem.
Yes. So the token. So the token usage is how does it work? So the publishers or the websites. So the token name is Attrace is ATTR, and it's used by three parties. So first of all, you got the publisher. So that's basically your website. Every time a website wants to register a click on chain, they will need a very little bit of a Attrace token for that. They need about 1,000 of so it's about 1,000 clicks for $1 to register on chain. That's the pricing we've come up with. So you need about $1 in Attrace to register about 1,000 clicks on chain. Now, some people might say, well, currently publishers do not need to pay, to process to generate leads and forward them to whomever is trying to sell something. That's true, but let me tell you the economical model behind that. If you're trying to sell insurances online and you generate about 1,000 leads and you forward them to insurance company, roughly you might land about 1% in sales. That means you will land about $1,200 to $1,500 in commissions. Now, if you're gonna, for them it's no brainer to spend $1 to assure that $1,500 is rightfully allocated to them. So for them, it's an absolute no-brainer for the publishers to do this. Now the merchants, they only need Attrace every time they make a commission payment to the publisher. So the insurance companies, or whoever's trying to sell something, only when they sell something, they need to pay a commission to the website that's been advertising them. Now, nowadays, when you pay, for example, $100 commission to a website, the middleman is going to take 25%. Attrace will take 0.5%. So instead of $75 ending up at the website, $99.5 will end up at the website. So we go down with 95%. So we keep 0.5%, or if in case you make $100 payment, we keep half $1. This half $1 is used to buy Attrace. 80% of that Attrace will be burned for obvious reasons, and 20% of that Attrace, so 10p, will be used to maintain the Attrace network. So that's how the token usage it's basically implemented to the ecosystem. Now the nodes, of course, the witnesses, they need some Attrace token to become a witness, and also for them it's a no-brainer, because all the Attrace token that the publishers are paying for their clicks to be registered on chain, all of that Attrace will go to the witnesses or the miners processing the blocks. And we've also calculated that there's a very healthy economical incentive there. It's about a factor 1,000 electricity cost versus what you might earn if you want to run, the Attrace blockchain. So So we've really thought this through. And then at a later stage, perhaps in 2-3 years time, you could opt for the idea that, the actual commission, which is currently still paid in fiat, can also be paid in a Trace token, right? So right now, if a website is paying $100, if an insurance company is paying $1 to a website as a result of a sale, 50p of that will be used to buy a Trace, and the other $99.5 will still go in fiat via an external payment solution to the website. In the future, this can also be done fully in a Trace. What we feel for the coming years, we should still keep the option open of actual commission payments in fiat. Otherwise, you have no quick market adaptation. So those are the ways that a Trace token will be used. It's an absolute pillar in the Trace ecosystem, so to say.
Yeah, interesting. And maybe we can discuss also a bit on security. So then now, as you mentioned, in the current scenario of affiliate marketing, some information is shared with the network. Sometimes some information is shared also with the other company, the affiliate company.
Yeah.
And how would that process go with in Attrace ecosystem? How much information would be shared with the nodes, for example?
So first of all, it's probably worth mentioning that we are fully registered in the Netherlands. Everything about Attrace. So that means we're subject to Dutch and European data protection laws and any other type of law. It's arguably not the best place to be registered for tax reasons, but it's definitely a very good place to be registered in case you actually want to build an ecosystem that's actually going to gain some real economical traction. Why is that? You want to bring in the merchants, or otherwise the advertisers, the banks, the insurance companies. You want them to become part of this ecosystem, and they will not work with you if you're registered in the Bahamas or wherever else. So we registered in the Netherlands because that means fully compliant with all the data regulations. Now it is an open network. That means that the clicks registered and the sales registered, they will be publicly known, but you can anonymize them and you can index them. But part of the fact, it's part of the proposition that some of the leads generated and the sales closed are publicly known, because what you want to do is you want to build reputation statistics around both the advertisers as well as the publishers, so that the whole system becomes more transparent. The main problem in online marketing globally at the moment, and if you Google around it, it's constantly mentioned, is that there's massive trust tracking and transparency issues. With Google as well, some people think that 30 to 40% of all clicks on Google is robotic, is fake. With display advertising, people have no idea what's happening, and it's millions and millions of money going in there. So we believe, and this is after talking to the end users, both the merchants, so the advertisers as well as the websites, we believe that transparency and more openness around these type of statistics is the next step, and we've got some very positive feedback on that. So in a nutshell, yes, it's an open network. A lot of the statistics will become more public, but we will always keep them anonymized so that we're fully compliant. We will index them in case for some merchants and publishers it becomes too informative, so to say. But in the end, this is part of the whole ecosystem proposition. And we have a large team, and half of them are very experienced marketeers, and they all believe this is the way forward. So
one thing maybe we can discuss is in a network like you mentioned now, it's very important the ratings, because as an affiliate, for example, then you would like to see which companies you would like to work with. If some companies, and you would like to read if a company pays not on time or they have issues with other affiliates. So would that be part also of the system that you just mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. So it will all be publicly known, but you can also build incentives. So for example, if a insurance company that just made a sale, if the if this company pays the website that's generated lead within 1 week or within 2 weeks, you know, you can get a discount in terms of commission. You can all make it automated. So let's say, or how long it takes for them to approve a sale, because for some products like insurance and credit cards, you need some time to approve the sale, right? You need to maybe do some background check on the person who bought the insurance. So you can all log this into a blockchain, so it's become all fully public. It's an absolute game changer. For those who understand affiliate marketing, this will be a total game changer, because it takes away all the frustration, all the problems, and all the entry barriers for this type of marketing to become way bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a key thing, the part of the reviews, and know exactly, because I've worked also in affiliate marketing from both sides, and I've had also the experience from the affiliate side of getting the commissions afterwards, after doing all the work, and then getting them. Well, you just see that the commission is there, but you cannot take it immediately. In some cases, it's just the merchant denies it for whatever reason. So that's also interesting to know that all that information is public. So you make a conscious decision when you.
Absolutely. You can, as a publisher, you can select, okay, which products do I want to advertise on. But I've had experience myself where I had a kind of a publishing company for a couple of years. You know, I've had experience when I sent 10,000 leads and the middleman told me, you've accomplished 1 sale. And of course you don't believe. That's absolute nonsense. But there's nothing you can do. There's no leverage over the middleman. Neither the publisher nor the merchant, the advertiser, have any leverage over the middleman. They just have to live with this. It's a huge point of frustration. And we firmly believe this is one of the reasons why affiliate marketing is not a way larger part of online marketing, because it works so imperfect. Yeah. But if it worked perfect, it's a logical endpoint of marketing. It's you want to pay per sale as an advertiser, and you're quite happy to pay a lot if you only need to pay per sale, instead of giving tens of millions on display advertisements, which have no idea if it works at all. So yeah, it's such a strong user case, and it's a user case you can only solve with blockchain. So we are really excited about this project.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting for as you said, like from a merchant perspective, it's a no-brainer. If your one option is hiring a huge team of marketers for display, and you don't know if people are really clicking on those, rather than just like knowing exactly or more or less how much your return on that investment will be. Upon sales.
Yeah.
Now that we are just getting towards the end of the interview, maybe we can discuss a bit on the roadmap, and then where you're at the moment with the ICO, and then the next quarters, and then maybe we can discuss also the long-term big picture overview.
Okay, so the basic framework of the blockchain, which is fully developed in-house, has been finished already. So what we're working on right now is building the user interfaces. So the user interface for the end user, so that the interface that the publisher is using or that the advertiser is using. And it's gonna be a copy basically of how they currently are used to working with affiliate networks. So for them, it's a no-brainer to start working with Attrace, because they don't feel any difference bar the advantages. So that takes a lot of time. So we anticipate we'll be finished with developing them around October this year. So October this year, the framework is there to start running already. So this is this year, a couple of months. Now the good thing is we have a very large team. So we got 7 founders. By the way, there's half of them in banking in London, New York. The other half background in affiliate marketing or IT, fintech startups with successful exits. We have a very hefty advisor team as well. But this team, we own a lot of strategic fabric ourselves. So one of them owns a white label affiliate network. We got a lot of very large publishers. So we got one guy involved who owns arguably around 0.5% to 1% of the whole publishing side of the Dutch affiliate market. So what's going to happen is, this year, the first news item is going to be Attrace system is live, and the first sale fully automated on-chain has been accomplished. The second news item, end of November this year, is going to be Attrace has allocated strategic traffic to the network and is now running about 1% of the Dutch affiliate market on-chain. And then the third news item is going to be Attrace is killing all the fees, or at least bringing them down dramatically. And by that point, I promise you, it will be international news, because that means there's a token, a real blockchain use case that's actually live and it's actually working. So in terms of timeline, of course, and after that, based on the results of the ICO, we can acquire affiliate networks overseas and generate quicker market adaptation. But in terms of timeline, the real results you will already see this year. We're going to be live with real strategic economical traction this year. That means that the token value this year is not only driven by listing, where everybody's always looking at, but also by actual usage of the end users and the burn resulting from that. So it's a real exciting time for us. We generally believe this is going to cause a stir. We just need a couple of months.
Yeah, it's super. It's going to be some. You have some busy months ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like a background in banking London, so we're used to having no sleep. But to be honest with you, it's definitely at the same level in terms of lack of sleep and working.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I didn't expect that. I just it's really full on, but very exciting.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Especially, it's interesting to see a project that has a real use case and it's planning to run a working platform within the next.
It's all my elevator pitch, and I don't want to diss any other project, but we have a real user case, meaning we don't just add value, we solve a problem. That's a real user case. But the biggest one is the second one. This user case can only be solved with blockchain. That's a big one. And then the third one is we promise real economical traction this year. So yeah, I think logically, I mean, affiliate marketing is not the most sexy topic, and it's B2B. So this is our challenge. We need to explain to people what it is. But in terms of the actual end result or real traction, I think we should be extremely exciting.
In terms of target that we didn't discuss, that it's you're planning to start mainly with mid-size merchants or
well actually we mid-size, but because we're registered in the Netherlands and because some of the founders, including me, have experience with working with the larger companies like the larger retail banks globally, we do hope that we can scoop in some larger merchants as well, especially also because we're registered in the Netherlands, as I just touched on. So and we're definitely going to focus first on insurance. So insurance and products for women's magazines, because one of the advisors has a large network of online women's magazines. So that's also going to be part of the equation. Yeah,
interesting. It makes sense. I think that is the insurance industry is very much involved in
if you look at like Western Europe, the Netherlands, UK, way more than half of all financial retail products, so you talk credit cards, insurance, are sold online, and they're not sold online directly, right? You don't go directly to an insurance website to buy insurance. You always go to a price comparison website to think about when and how, and this is where the market is, and this is also where the problems are.
So for people that don't know about insurance in the Netherlands, is if you're going to run a business with insurance, the Netherlands is the place, because here everything is insured. And
it's one of the most developed affiliate markets in the world, especially around. So, and after that, of course, the UK is also extremely developed, and then we look at Scandinavia, Germany, rest of Western Europe, and then dependent on the result of the ICO, we decide how quick we go to the US, because we have, of course, a network there, but you need some more resources. So this is also where the most of the ICO proceeds will be allocated towards.
Cool. Very interesting. I think we covered everything that we wanted to discuss. I don't know if there's anything else that we left that you would like to mention.
I think I'd like to mention that, about the team. So, we really have covered every aspect of the open network Attrace ecosystem. So we also have, for example, have an advisor, which is a global thought leader in corporate governance, professor in Hong Kong. We got a senior director of eBay as an advisor that will help us with taking on the long tail and in emerging markets. We got an ethical hacker in our team that will ensure that the security side has been covered. We got a couple of very strong lawyers internationally to ensure that that aspect has been covered as well. So I firmly believe that we have a very strong team, all with very impressive track records that will make this, that will ensure this will be a success. And then the ICO, the result of the ICO, the only impact that it has is as the speed of market adaptation globally. So the larger the ICO result, the quicker we can trigger market adaptation in more than a couple of countries. So that's the message I want to say.
How, by the way, how much are you raising on the ICO?
15 million.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
And also it's worth mentioning, sorry to interrupt again.
Yeah, sure.
We did a private sale, which was double oversubscribed and predominantly driven by the end users. So it was predominantly the publishers and the advertisers that are investing in us because they're tired of the current middleman structure. So there really is a user case here. I tried to bring a message across with some, let's say, objectiveness, but there really is a user case here. This is going to happen.
Well, that's interesting that it's not just any investors that got involved in the pre-sale, but mainly the companies that will be involved in the ecosystem.
Yes, those have been driving the double oversubscription of the private sale. Pre-ICO starts at 1st of August, ladies and gentlemen.
Perfect. Okay, for everyone that if you guys want to know more about Attrace, just go to the website. I'll leave the link, of course, in there it is. You can check all the links there. I'll leave it also in the description.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, if you have any questions, guys, just go to the social media channels. You just saw it on the card. But I'll also leave it there on the description. And just if you have any questions, just go directly to the team, and yeah, you just take it from there. Well,
thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Erwin, and for everyone. Thank you for this was another episode of Blockchain Markets, and I'll see you in another episode. Cheers. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.